Did you see the Netflix documentary about Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Do you know who this person is?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
All right, she was a Missouri woman, and she was just released from prison in Chillicothe after her role in the murder of her mother.
Over it, I am far more worried about somebody else farting and me losing all just like laughing.
Like modern loneliness looks like two people in the same room but on their smartphones.
This one has a lot of hair. This one has a normal amount of hair. It's Pat and Alex. This one was born in Raytown. This one lives in Raytown. They opened a store in the pandemic, and this is a show about it. Hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle. Here is the show.
Hello and welcome back to Hustle and Bustle. I'm Pat.
I'm Alex.
It is the holiday episode. We're between the what do you consider the holidays?
It's like limbo week. This week doesn't exist.
Do the holidays officially start with Thanksgiving? And then okay, all right. So we're rounding.
Mm-hmm. Halloween's like an appetizer, and then the meal starts at Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And then desserts. I would include Valentine's Day. Desserts like New Year's Eve.
Yeah. How was the food? What's your Christmas food? Do you do traditional food, or is it just...
Is there a traditional Christmas food?
I feel like ham.
That's what we had, ham.
Yeah.
Ham and yams.
Ham and yams?
Yeah.
That rhymes.
And lots of sweets. Just junk food. Like lots of cookies, lots of pie.
Yeah.
That's
good.
Good.
We had it was mostly finger foods amongst my. We had 4 quarters of Christmas, 2 Christmas Eves, 2 Christmases. Just really approached it like a football game.
Yeah,
you got to get through all 4 quarters. I'd say most of those quarters were finger foods. We had on Christmas we had sloppy joes.
Oh, that's
which
weird.
is the first time I ever had that on Christmas. But we called them Sloppy Josephs for Jesus' dad. And then we had Virgin Mary's tossed salad to go with the Sloppy Joes. So that was festive. But no, it was great. I just grazed on finger foods. Have you ever had an olive ball? Have you ever heard of this?
I think olives are gross. So
okay, well, it's a green olive. I think there's like a little bit of cheese maybe stuffed in it.
Sure.
And then it's wrapped in some kind of cheddar dough and baked. Never had one of these in my whole life. Jen's family does them every Christmas. Apparently, loved it.
I guess we do have a traditional food. Every year, my grandpa makes. I think they're called pepper nuts.
Okay.
Do you know what they are?
No. But I can imagine that there's pepper and nuts involved.
No, it's like a shitty cookie. I don't know how to describe it. Apparently, they're traditional. It's like a gross gingerbread. It's German.
Okay, pepper nuts. So there's no nuts involved.
No, they're just tiny little cookies.
Okay,
but he makes them like in these rolls and then cuts them. I don't know. I just didn't know if you knew what they were as well. I haven't really met a whole lot of people who know what they are, but they're disgusting, and my family loves to make them. And then they sit there till like March, April.
And no one eats them.
Because they are just like a stale cookie, so it's not like they go bad.
Yeah,
they just sit around forever.
Yeah. Is that you or me?
That's me.
I was going to say, people don't call me. No, Christmas was good. It was, I would say, you remember in college when, like, you were really looking forward to Christmas break, and then you'd go home, and then, like, after a day and a half, you're like, man, I'm ready for Christmas to be over.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go back to school. That doesn't happen. Like, now as an adult, I acutely look forward to, like, the holidays, like, time off to sit there, and, like, I'm a bad person if I'm working or I'm on my phone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've got to be present. But I will say, like, ready to get back to work at the end of it.
Yeah. Well, I discovered, I took some deliberate rest points.
Yeah.
Where I was like, hey, there's nothing to do today except for just maybe, like, focus on myself and hang out.
Yeah.
Do things that matter to me. But I'm not big on gifts either. I don't really like receiving them, and I feel like I'm not great at giving them. So when that all finishes, like the day after Christmas, when I know that I don't have to open up another gift or give another gift, that feels great.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it does. It was my niece. You could tell she's like 6, I think, or 5. I should know that, but she was like done opening gifts. She's like your 93rd Christmas gift opening, because when you're a kid, there's like 400 Christmases that you have to go to, and like, oh, more presents. But you could tell she was done by the end of it, which is a thing to be. It's a weird to be done opening gifts.
Yeah, I don't think I had that feeling as a kid, but as an adult, too big of an empath. I have to make sure that you feel good about the gift you gave me.
Kids' toys have become cool. Like my favorite toys, she had this weird like princess drone thing that it was like floated in the air, and it was just like a hovered thing. But we played with that had a lot of great fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would just say kids' toys have really upgraded. From remote control cars. Now they fly.
Yeah, they'll go on walls and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine having that as a kid. Annoying your parents so much from driving your remote control around, and then it just goes on the wall. That's got to be a nightmare as a parent.
Yeah.
Now their toys are on the wall.
Worst part about Christmas for all of Kansas City, the Chiefs lost. To the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. I thought, so my mom came into some tickets like a week before the game, and she asked us, would you all be interested in going to the game on Christmas? We're like, fuck yeah. So, pumped, Christmas Day, home game against the Raiders. I'm expecting it to be, good and juicy, but we'll come out on top. It was just sad.
Yeah.
And,
what was it like, the feeling in the stadium on those back-to-back defensive touchdowns?
Those 12 seconds. Well, let me tell you this. I had to piss like a racehorse. I'm going 5 minutes left in the half. I can hold it. 12 seconds later, which felt like an eternity, we're down to a touchdown. No closer to taking a piss. Because it took like 3 minutes, but it was only 12 seconds. It was bad. It was rough.
Yeah.
But I'd never gotten to watch the game from the 100 section before, which is where our tickets were.
Like, is that low?
Yeah, like field level.
Okay. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was worth it. I will say, every year I go to a Chiefs game, like having to pee moment. Like, I don't have to experience that at my house or at a bar. I can piss. I'm enjoying them a little bit less, except for, I think, being like field level.
Yeah.
But if we were up like in the 300s, I don't know, like I wouldn't pay $200 to go watch a Chiefs game from the third level.
I just the value isn't there anymore. I mean, I just don't have the money, right? Like for me, if you have my bank account, you cannot justify going to a Chiefs game.
100%.
No matter how much fun it is. But there are people that do, There are people that do. No, it was a sad day. What do you think about the Chiefs? I mean, like everyone's freaking out that we're broken, we're done, and we're awful. And, there's good argument to be made that we're not doing real good here.
I thought up a pretty good metaphor with the Rocky franchise, where if the Chiefs team were the Rocky movies 1 through 5, we'd be in movie 3 right now. We just came off 2 big wins. For years, no one expected anything of us. Now we're the hottest shit in the NFL. We got a little Hollywood, got a little soft.
Yeah.
Got paid some big checks.
We're not running in the mountains for training. We're not punching meat in freezers anymore.
No.
We're taking pictures and posing for pictures in the middle of our training.
Yeah, we're doing commercials. We're dating Hollywood stars.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just where we are in the arc of...
Andy Reid's even on commercials every game. That's relatively new.
In which, like, so there was... he got into Kelsey's face and gave him, like, a bump.
Bump? Yeah.
I watched that. So, like, it seems...
That was a little too reminiscent of me and Dylan at rugby practice.
Yeah, but like I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's a good, because it's hard sometimes trying to figure out, like, as an adult, how to be coached by other adults.
Yeah,
because with adults and kids, it's easy. Like, you're the grown up.
There's like a power dynamic.
Yeah. And so it was cool to like them to check that and be like, remember who the fuck you are, and you're on a team. I'm the coach.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I made you. I mean, Travis.
Yeah.
Travis could have been out of the NFL pretty quick if it weren't for Andy Reid's patience with him and helping him. But anyways, the team, the offensive line blows. I think that's what it boils down to.
That's
the offensive line sucks, and not the interior line's pretty damn good. The exterior line, the 2 new tackles are bad.
The most penalized player in the NFL.
Just Juwan Taylor.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm done watching is Creed Humphrey. God bless him. Patrick Mahomes is out there scrambling like a fucking chicken with his head cut off, and everybody's trying to kill him. And Creed Humphrey is busting his ass at covering every inch of grass to try to protect Mahomes or murder the guy that hurts him, right? And then there's Jawan Taylor, who once you slip past his wrist grab after you've beaten him on the block, he just stands and watches. Like Mahomes could be being clubbed to death and he would be whistling.
Stop.
Yeah, don't. So the offensive line is the number one issue. And if your line can't block and you can't trust that you're not going to get murdered, and then when you throw the ball, you can't trust anybody's going to catch it, it's hard to be really, really good at football for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. That does seem to be, whenever we're bad, it does seem to be our O-line that's because we've been good with the mediocre defense before.
Yeah, but this is a good defense now.
Yeah.
Like, defense is actually good. And I also think Mahomes just hates checking down, hates taking 6, 4, 5 yards.
Yeah.
But we're most successful when he does.
But we also, besides Pacheco and Clyde sometimes, but a lot of the teams like McCaffrey, you can check down to him, and that's almost a guaranteed first down half the time.
Right, sure.
So it's also cool when you know your check down is still not a lost play.
Yeah. Dylan thinks that, because he's a Steelers fan, they've done this twice now where they finished the season not doing great, 10-7 or 10-6 or something like that. And then they went on to win the Super Bowl. I think that we can still win the Super Bowl. I just don't think that there's a juggernaut team that we can't beat. We have to play better than we have all season.
Everyone's been blowing the 49ers up. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson is. He doesn't get the attention I think he should in the NFL.
Yeah. Oh, Lamar Jackson's good.
He was MVP a few years ago, and now but he's been stellar every year with a okay team.
Yeah.
Now he's got OBJ, but he's never had I feel crazy offensive weapons. I don't know.
Mahomes has a great defense now, really, really good, and if the offensive, I think Andy Reid, Mahomes, and the whole team just need to adjust to the fact that the line sucks. Take that for granted. The exterior line sucks. All right, now what's our game plan?
Yeah.
Go from that assumption and then build it out, because I just don't think there's any, you still have Mahomes and he's awesome. Just give him the right tools and game plan and mindset that, all right, our tackles are bad, so these 5-7 step drop shit, probably need to work that out of the playbook.
Pacheco's also got to stay healthy, so they can not just pass rush every time, and I don't know. We're gotten a lot about football.
Yeah, we've got a lot. Keep your helmet on, Pacheco. You wouldn't be so goddamn concussed if you wore your helmet. Other news in Kansas City, IHOP KC, International House of Prayer. We kind of talked about this update. They have severed ties with their founder, Mike Bickle. So that's unique. So literally the founder of this, what do you call it? A denomination? A religion?
A church.
Is now out. That has to be awkward.
Yeah. What as a follower, there's a part of you that has to feel kind of stupid.
You would think,
I would.
right?
It'd be like I paid a lot of money to go to Harvard, and then I find out my professor just slipped into the room on the first day, and I've been learning from a fraud.
Yeah,
that'd be what I feel like. I feel like I got duped. I'm kind of an idiot.
He was the differentiator for IHOP KC because he founded it. So if you chose IHOP over, say, First Methodist or First Baptist or whatever your other options were for your religion, he was the reason why. And now he's out because of sexual misconduct. It would be hard, you would think, to stick around. But I bet there's a lot of people who will.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, churches, we can talk religion a little bit.
No, it's a dangerous subject. But it's just ideologies, man. You could ascribe it to any cult, any public, it just... It's hard for people to admit they're wrong when they really believe they're right.
2024 prediction, there will be a new denomination of Catholicism.
There's going to be another?
A new schism.
What's that? Tell me more.
They've the Pope in the last month.
He's too liberal.
Yeah, he's now allowed priests to bless gay marriages, and he was we should stop. We should stop being good children of God, or we should stop letting ideologies getting in the way from us being good, loving people.
Yeah,
and I just feel like that's not the way a lot of Catholics think.
Yeah.
So I just imagine there will be either, I don't know, it's a totally off the whim prediction. But
when you think about, all right, let's talk about religion for a second.
Okay.
How many people do you know that came to their religion as adults?
It's a smaller ratio of those that were born into. I don't know, actually.
So the overwhelming majority of religious people I know are the same general strain of religious that they were when they grew up.
Yes, agreed.
Which means that the story that they believe in that drives their ideology is just something that was told to them by their parents and something that their parents picked up from their parents. It wasn't like everyone was a blank slate. We were all born, and then we all came to this great conclusion. We all did the math as humans, and this is it. Methodist was the way to go.
Yeah.
You just are the way you are because your parents told you that way you are. And zoom out, and like we're fighting fucking giant wars and like culture cold civil wars here in America over it, and real actual wars about it in the Middle East. And it's like, just because the story your parents told you was different than the story my parents told me, we're going to like fucking scorch the earth over it.
Yeah.
That's bananas to me.
It is. Yeah, it's.
My mom told me this way of living is the best way to do it and every other way is wrong, and therefore I am willing to kill people over it. Or, you know, draw some giant line in the sand, even if you don't relate to killing people.
I haven't heard a single good answer from people who are deeply religious as to an answer to that paradox of what about people who just never received any type of religious education at all?
Yeah.
Like, what about those people? Are they just like doomed? Or do they live the best life ever?
I don't know. It's a wild thing. We're probably there's if you don't ascribe to this or find yourself in the same spectrum of religion or faith as you and I, you probably hated the last 4 minutes. So
yeah, we're really narrowing down.
Yeah.
Sports / atheist /
Another fun one. Did you see the Netflix documentary about Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Do you know who this person is?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
All right, she was a Missouri woman, and she was just released from prison in Chillicothe after her role in the murder of her mother. So she was, from the time as a young child, it was Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Would you know what that is? Where like your mom will keep you sick so that she can take care of you. It's like a mental thing.
Yeah.
So Gypsy like lived her whole life, and like they used to collect all this money and do all these GoFundMes, and her mom would like keep her sick, and she lived in a wheelchair even though she could walk, and she convinced her that she, you know, like she would poison her and do all this stuff. And so years and years and years of abuse. So Gypsy got online eventually and started online dating and convinced her boyfriend to come down and murder her mom because she was living in this abusive imprisonment. Great Netflix documentary.
Yeah, sounds great.
She was just released from prison about an hour and a half from here this week.
Oh.
A little early. So she's supposed to send in Chillicothe, Missouri. She's supposed to spend 10 years in prison, but got out after 7. So
that seems fair.
if you have Netflix and you live in Missouri, it's probably on the top end of your interesting news this week.
I support that.
But letting people out of
her specific situation.
Yeah, this situation's fucked. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like any good Netflix documentary, it, you know, makes you don't know if she's a good guy or bad guy at the end. But she's out now, so hopefully a new lease on a second life.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who spent 7 years in prison and is like, I'm better.
And then the only thing I really had to talk about here is we've been talking about Ozempic, the weight loss drug.
Oh, yeah.
There's a 1,500% increase in calls for injectable weight loss drugs like Ozempic.
Yeah, the drug for people with no self-control. I guess people have issues with self-control with using it. Seems kind of like
it curbs all my cravings except for the craving I have for it.
For thinking. Yeah, I we'll see what the side effects of all that are. You know.
Yeah.
But that's curious. That seems like a no-brainer. Like it's gonna be ugly like this. Like how do you even get prescribed it without having the acute like medical conditions that you're supposed to have?
So it's a diabetic thing. So like if you go in and you give the symptoms and you tell the story of then your doctor say, I think you're pre-diabetic.
Yeah,
you
but
should be taking this.
That seems to be like black or white. Like you can't. I'm not pre-broken arm. You know, like you have a broken arm or you don't. Like can you? Do you
there's probably some
diabetes or don't have diabetes.
But look,
right?
I mean, somehow a doctor fed Michael Jackson a whole bunch of drugs until he died and kept his license.
Aside
and did
from
that.
the
so like malfeasance and these things like
billionaires.
you know, and like there's no downside yet, right? So like, I don't know. Opiates were prescribed like an obscene amount there for a while, and you think doctors probably saw a profit motive behind it, and at some point maybe looked past some giant red flags that they shouldn't have to overprescribe it because they were just getting all these great stories back and there were no consequences coming in yet.
Yeah, that sounds like that's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I bet that's probably happening now. Yeah.
That's like, how can we go through that whole thing as a society and then someone's like, well, actually, here's another thing that's all good, no bad side effects, and you can just take it. I don't know. I feel like there's just a zombie apocalypse coming. And it's
Ozempic is going to be the... So when people who use this weight loss drug die, they're going to come back and try to eat us.
Yeah.
Because they've been suppressing all that hunger.
And they're just
built up until the afterlife.
Too ravenous. They'll get so hungry that they'll just have to eat whatever's in front of them.
This is hilarious. Did you go to any stores in the week before Christmas?
Yes. So did like the Target run, just some like stocking stuffers.
Mm-hmm.
Went to downtown Overland Park
to
grab some cutting boards from Ben Gillespie for my folks.
Oh yeah, nice.
He's got like a little booth down there at the Taste of the Olive. Dude, downtown Overland Park has just fucking exploded.
Yeah.
I haven't been down there, I guess, in like a year. It's insane.
Yeah.
So that was fun to walk around there. It was
That's
like
cool.
just me. Got stop by. There's like a brewery down there. Got a beer. Then picked up the cutting boards, and then got a couple other stocking stuffers, and then got a little snack, and then went home. It was fun.
I went to Ross. I went to a number of places. I went to Ross the week of, and there were more clothes on the floor than on the racks, and it was crazy. And then me and Jen went to a movie theater last night, and like everything was sticky. Every surface was sticky at the movie theater, and there's just like 12-year-olds on their phones behind every counter. And I'm just like, man, is this what it's like to have like a service industry business? So that like everyone who works for you is just on their phone.
Yeah. Okay. So funny enough, I met over Christmas break. We went to a couple of restaurants on the plaza and got to meet my girlfriend's dad's new girlfriend, and she owns a restaurant in Springfield. And so she was giving us some behind the scenes of like what it's like to be in the service industry post-COVID,
which we so hope to be in soon.
Yeah. But she says it's she can't come up with an answer for it either. But she hasn't been to a service building or company that she thoroughly enjoyed pre-COVID, whether it be like fine dining or excellent massage place or something. Been to it after, and she had the same experience.
Yeah.
What is that?
Like I would say like. I don't, if I applied the same standards I apply to when I'm walking into a business that I don't own and I'm just visiting it, to our business, like we fall below the standard that I would like us to have often.
Yeah.
But we're owner operators and, we're doing a lot, but like, it's not like where the surface is sticky. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like the further away you get from the owners doing the operating and the more people that aren't owners that are doing the operating, the worse the operation is going to be.
And so that makes sense. Like, I think that's one of the biggest issues with like corporate America and just our economy as it is right now is most of what people are working for is a large corporation instead of a mom and pop business.
Yeah.
And so like I'm going to this fancy restaurant, they're incentivized for their paycheck and a corporation that owns this restaurant.
Yeah.
But like if you are working for us, I'll instill in you that like for sure that your performance in some way dictates the feeding of my children.
Right.
And vice versa. Like I'll make it worth your time. Like if you're going to be sacrificing, I want you to quote unquote, support yourself, whether it be if you're in high school, that means like going out an appropriate amount of time and having gas money to go do stuff with friends. So like there is this it has become purely monetary transaction, and we've taken the humanity out of work.
I used to really some of my best times as a young person was working, like because I worked in the service industry all the time. I worked in movie theaters. I worked in the movie theater we went to last night. I worked at restaurants from 15 to 30 almost. Mm-hmm. I was in the service industry the entire time. Like I bounced even after I stopped like being a server or making sandwiches or a delivery guy. I worked the door at bars until like an embarrassingly late age because it was like such easy money and I had nothing better to do at that time.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. There's a certain level of camaraderie and teamship that comes with working at those places.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe if people are on their phones, because I heard it. Esther Perel kind of defined it on a podcast as like modern loneliness looks like two people in the same room but on their smartphones, and it's not like we are. Modern loneliness hides itself as hyperconnectivity. So we're acting like we're on social media and we're socializing with each other, but we're not. We're in the same space as someone and we're actually alone. We're not actually engaging with them.
I heard a quote. I think I put it in one of our threads where this dude got so just continually detached that he made it a goal where at minimum twice every day my head will be in the same place my feet are.
Right.
And like what that means, I'm on social media, I listen to a podcast, listening to music. Don't do anything.
I was thinking about yoga. I was like, that's hard to do. Like get your head and your feet in the same place.
Yeah,
just
and
from
you
a stretching standpoint.
Have to, because like as soon as you, especially if you're not good at it, as soon as you start thinking about gnarly hustle, like you start to fall or you cramp up somewhere.
I was making a joke about stretching. You're talking about how yoga is actually a good way to do that.
Yeah, it's good.
But they both worked. Both applied. Have you been? You're in now? The Caroline's teaching. Are you like a yoga person now?
I will be. I'm sure within the year.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not fun for me like working out is.
Okay.
So like I don't think I'll do it like on my own a whole lot, but I definitely see the benefits of it, especially with my back and mobility. Like as I age, I will need to. Like, how many times do you just like twist all the way around and hold it? Never. You never do it.
My back hurts right now, and there's no explanation for it. Like I have no I just got out of the car when I parked this morning at the shop, and my back hurts.
I have those. Yeah, it's like this. It I think will help alleviate some of those things. You know, making sure you're using everything and not letting things go to waste.
And I mean, I know this is a weird question, but like the farting, is it often?
So I haven't experienced it yet.
Okay.
It's my biggest fear, not me farting.
I would say it's mine too.
Not me farting per se. I think I would be like anxious and scared about that, but I would get over it. I am far more worried about somebody else farting and me losing all just like laughing.
Well, as a bigger guy, anytime someone farts and it's not obvious who it is,
get blamed
they assume
for it.
it's me.
Yeah.
So I have high fart anxiety.
So there's Caroline's grandma, she's farted a couple times, and like we did it. She was just practicing where it was just the four of us. I had to leave the room.
Yeah,
I couldn't stop laughing. It's like I would make that person feel uncomfortable and ruin it for everybody. Not because the fart, but because like I would be like trying to hold it in.
Yeah. And then that's really not much to talk about. How it's going around here, I think it's going pretty good. You know, we've got some. We've talked about it a little bit. We've got some new consigners we're trying out. They did really well this month.
Mm-hmm. They did very
better.
well.
If you would have guessed, throw a number out there that they'll do. I would have guessed lower.
Agreed. I would say this is the first like consignment seller in
where it's like, whoa, yeah,
it's working. Good job. But it's also kind of unlocked some clues. It's good data collecting that we didn't have to spend money on.
When we first came into this space, we were like, oh, we're going to monetize it in a million different ways. And one of the main ways we were going to monetize it was fucking selling space to people to be in here or consigning. Yeah. And we've structured it. We learned very quickly that we had to structure it based solely on sales and no like rent and sales. Because the few ones that we did rent early on, let's be honest, one of them was just a family friend who probably kept paying us rent way longer than she should have out of kindness.
Yeah.
But now like there's a business motive and like business reason to be at Gnarly Hustle if you sell vintage at least.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's definitely worth these two gentlemen, Martin City Thrift and Super Thrifty Guy.
Super Thrift Bros.
100% worth their time, which makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I like being useful, and if I can provide value to people, it makes me feel good.
That's it. So like it feels great, like we actually are able to provide value.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And then Midnight Madness coming up February 3rd, Casey Soccer Dome. We're gonna have like 20, 30 vendors. Like it's gonna be sick.
If you've been to Casey Vintage Flea or what the Rex Brothers are put on or the Casey Night Market, it'll be
right up there.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Well attended and some cool shit in there.
And then we're going to have some dope live music as well. The Royal Chief, Circle Drive, Fight Dream, awesome. Every color of the rainbow there for you. And some rugby, some kick butt rugby, full bar. Going to be a great time. We'll be there having a great time. So come do it with us February 3rd, KC Soccer Dome, 5909 Equitable Road, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Come party with us. See you later. We got to go open a store now.
Peace.